Well, with all of the stuff going on right now in the world with different countries and China playing a factor in certain things, it might come as a shock here that somebody's talking about China and it's not really like political or anything. It's actually having everything to do with gaming. And I suppose on a much larger scale, it is showing that we're about to see some very, very good single player, like AAA games that are coming from China, and that is because they have basically awakened a sleeping giant with Black Myth Wukong, and it ain't gonna stop anytime soon. So you see, there was this article that was written a few days ago on Game Developer. I don't think it got a lot of coverage that I think that it deserves, and I really wanted to talk about it because it just came on my radar here. This was written a few days ago by Jason Rodriguez. I will link it in the description. But yeah, essentially Jason interviewed 3 key staff members that work on huge video games in China to kind of figure out what is going on right now in China with their single player games, because you see, video game development in China, it is still quite a new thing. It's only really been around for maybe like 10 or maybe 20 years, depending when you want to start the official timer there. But yeah, they have not been around nearly as long as, say, gaming in Europe or Japan or the US. But yeah, as far as this huge boom in AAA single player games, it sounds like this really kicked off with Black Myth Wukong, and that was, of course, just last year. So we're kind of still in the motion of things here, but that was a huge one. It sold 10 million copies in 3 days. Almost won Game of the Year, I think, but it did get beat by Astrobot. But yeah, now there are more on the way from China. There is one game in particular that they did mention. This is called Wukong Fallen Feathers. It looks like that is coming out in July. It looks pretty sweet. And you could maybe already tell just from the cover that this maybe kind of has some similarities with Black Myth Wukong. And that's not a coincidence. So one of the people that Jason interviewed said that I believe Chinese gamers are gradually forming a distinctive identity in global markets, kind of referencing cultural identity as kind of a big factor in their games. And they also say cultural outreach is not an overnight phenomenon, but a long-term evolution fueled by collective efforts. Now, that is not to say that every game that comes out of China is going to look like Black Myth Wukong, but it is something to definitely mention, because somebody else also goes on to say that these games might actually get like tax breaks. So they say also games recognized as key to, quote, digital cultural industries have mandates to integrate traditional themes, and there might even be state-backed campaigns to export games globally as cultural ambassadors. So basically, if these games are deemed culturally significant to China in certain ways, then it can actually get boosts in the funding and investment from the government of China. And the same person said rising incomes and increased demand for high quality content will continue to drive growth. Yeah, see, and my main takeaway from this was the single player emphasis. Like, they talked about these mobile games or like live service games, and how China has had an interest in this years ago. Like, maybe this is kind of when they were starting out with game development, but now it seems that things are kind of shifting to single player games, and not just like, copy and paste, throw anything at the wall, see what sticks type of content. Like, these are quote unquote high quality content games. They are taking it very serious, and yeah, we are going to see some seriously competitive products start to come out of China now. I mean, Black Myth Wukong, that was just the start. Game development, and some have pointed out like animation, and a lot of China's embracing of AI to support animation and game development overall. That is all making game development extremely sustainable right now in China, and it's only going to get better as we go forward. We'll have to look out for them going forward. Really, for decades now, the big 3 in video games in terms of regions of the world has been the US, Europe, and Japan, but I really think that very soon China is going to be right on that list.